Okay. So welcome to another episode of Unscripted Life Lessons. I'm right now here in the studio of the wonderful colleague Matt Carr in Brooklyn in New York.
Hello.
Welcome.
How you doing? Thanks for having me in my house.
Well, thanks for having me in your house. I just arrived 15 minutes ago. We never met in real life, but we were talking on Instagram for 2 years, writing.
At least, yeah.
Less.
Yeah.
And it just was a coincidence. I came to the States and said, hey, want to meet? Oh, are you in New York? Well, I make it possible. Okay, and here I am.
That's
awesome.
Right. He's everywhere. Very exciting.
It is. So we're talking about photography and how it is when people, well, you just say, do you need an assistant for what you do? You know, you work a lot with celebrities. I do erotic and boudoir, and everybody wants to join.
Yeah.
But we always say
Everybody wants to be my assistant, but
doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no, I use an assistant. Normally, I do a lot of corporate and advertising stuff. So
yeah,
that's.
But they never are in line for that usually.
Well, I surprised them. Like,
yeah, I wanted to.
Here's a really boring shoot.
That's why I wanted to become a photographer.
Yeah.
To shoot shampoo bottles and.
Well, the lunch is better.
Yeah, the lunch is much better.
Yeah, most of my celebrity stuff. A few times, if it's like magazine and there's any kind of budget, then I can bring somebody. But normally, it's me building my own set, and everyone's got to be vetted and all this stuff, and it's ridiculous. But yeah,
I think you also, I don't know. There's never much time to work with any celebrities because I guess they just come in. You have what?
Yeah.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe an hour.
Something like that. Yeah. It depends. Yeah. Usually anywhere between 2 minutes and an hour. But I have the studio set up by the time they get there.
Yeah.
It's all tested. So if they walk out,
they have a cross on when they were to sit with the stand.
Yeah. Like the one photo of Jeff Bridges in my portfolio, and he gave me. I did 3 frames of him. The third one, he's walking out of the frame.
Oh wow!
So, but he gave me, the 2 really good frames, and he's like, "That's good." He wasn't rude about it. I was like,
but you can't have. I mean, the lighting, the setup. You can shoot Jeff Goldblum in the same that you shoot Robert Downey Jr. in because there's like half a meter of this.
Oh yeah.
So you know everything about who's.
I usually try to get as good eye.
Or go.
Oh me? No, I'm 6'2", so I'm always crouching down because Hollywood is pretty small.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that? Do you know why?
It's easier on the trapeze. I don't know.
I was confused when I saw some celebrities in real life. They're so tiny.
Oh yeah.
And thin and small, and then you can read, of course, how big they are. Sylvester Stallone, Tom Cruise, whoever, really small people.
Yeah.
And some who are my or your size, like Schwarzenegger, who appear like a monster, like huge, or The Rock. But
I think maybe if they got the first big guy was really small, then they surround him with other smaller people. Maybe that's how. Maybe it's like, Darwinism, but in Hollywood.
I thought maybe if you're young and you get picked on everything because you're tiny and small, and that's when you escape into the arts.
That's
maybe
right.
And they say, okay, I want to be an actor and I want to therapy myself while I make a lot of money.
There you go. That makes sense. I'm gonna try to see if this. I'm gonna take a tintype of you, but
oh yeah,
it takes a.
You should see that. I will take a picture of that later.
This is a 1949 Crown Graphic, which is a press camera.
A 1949. It says almost my mother.
So
she was born in 49.
You can out your mother on this program.
She's still functioning as well.
Yeah, it's 4x5, but I have a somewhere in those drawers. I've got a press pack, which is good. It's a 4x5 holder that you can put 6 plates into, and it has this contraption where you lift one out and push it back in, and you expose it, and then you lift it out and it puts it to the back, and then the new one puts in the front. So you can take. I mean, for 1948 or whatever it was. That's pretty quick for 4x5.
It was like the Winchester photography, right?
Do 6 images, and it's got a rangefinder. It kind of works.
How did you, I mean, get into this kind of old technique? Who taught you, or?
Well, I just
did you find it on a flea market? Said I want to have it, or did you?
No. Well, I used to use a Polaroid 55 with this. You remember that?
Okay. Yeah.
The positive negative film for some portraits, and this said I always wanted to check it out. And I come from the journalism background, so this was like the standard back in the day, and I was so excited
carrying that stuff around.
Yeah, slow job.
It's as big as a shoebox.
It is.
Just for everybody who doesn't know it. How much is weight?
It's actually not that heavy. Let's see. But I took some kind of architecture tour one time years ago, and it was actually a house owned by the National Geographic photographer who did tintype, and I was really loving it. Yeah. And then I discovered upstate New York here. There's a guy called John Calford, I think, who runs a camp. This is 20 years ago, and there's like a two-day thing where he teaches you how to mix the chemicals and how to take the pictures, and you basically make a plate. And while it's wet, you soak it in the silver nitrate bath, so it becomes like a plate of film. Then you put it in a holder, take the picture, and then you develop it while it's still wet. Because if it dries, the developer can't get in there anymore, so it's done. So it's like you got 15 minutes between making the plate, shooting, and developing it. That's why they call it wet plate. So it's like it's almost Polaroid, but from 1850s. Anyway, so 20 years ago, I wrote the guy, you had to write, there's no email. He had no email. So I wrote him a letter. He said, "You're accepted. Please send me money." And for some reason, I didn't do it. And it was like kicking myself ever since. And then there's a place in town now that does classes over the weekend. So I took it there. It took me 18 years to come around, and it took me another year to get all the parts. Like this is the special back for the plate and all the chemicals. Some of the chemicals, there's like ether and alcohol. It's kind of a...
What are you wanting to do with these chemicals?
So I'm from the 70s, so I'm surprised I'm not glowing.
But are these parts, are they like, do they still produce them, or you have to find the originals somewhere in good shape?
Well, they're redoing them now. This is brand new, and there's actually...
Because it looks brand new.
Yeah, you can buy a kit for all the chemicals and stuff.
Still, they make it.
Yeah. That's something
no plastic.
You can get plastic ones too, but I was told that this is a better one, like lasts a little bit longer. But
and of course, I quote Doc Brown, "Marty, if I put a time machine in a car, why not with some style?"
Exactly right. Exactly. But it's just fun, and it makes. Let me show you some examples of what I did. It kind of it's all messed up. There's 101 things that can go wrong with it. There's no photoshopping required, but it's like instantly kind of like little piece of furnace, a piece of metal. So it's so this one I kind of messed up. You have to varnish it to protect it, but so it's on a piece of metal.
It's on a piece of metal.
So the metal's actually, when you get a trophy and they etch your name on it, it's that metal. So one of those shops, I just tell them the size of my holder, and they cut the size, so you can do 5x7, 8x10, whatever you want.
That's where the fascination of photography came from. Look at this, and this
is from our class. Look at that. That's a terrible picture.
Oh wow! No, but it looks good. But you look like a
what
like in the 50s, criminal who is working on a train or something.
Yeah, right.
It's all like film noir. I mean, beautiful.
So that's my daughter with like all this kind of weird stuff around, and
I like that, but I guess it shouldn't be there, right? But it looks...
That should be black. Also, the varnish, I burnt it by mistake. So I understand if you take some, like, Everclear alcohol stuff, you can wash it off. You have one chance to fix it, and you wash that off, and then I can revarnish it. So we're going to try that. That's my friend Albert.
He looks amazing. Like right out of the Magnificent Seven movie.
Yeah, it's Peruvians. Just get a good look. It's my friend Benton. Older dude.
He hasn't... I was just wondering, but I knew it wasn't him. But if I look like this quickly, it looks like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, well,
just like in a second.
And this is my daughter. The flash popped accidentally a second time, so that's her reacting to it because it's full on. So yeah, full power. It was about 6 inches from her face.
Wow,
so that's my friend's son.
Beautiful.
Originally, I had to do 2 pops because the ISO of this thing is like 0.5.
Yeah,
so it's super slow. So it takes a lot.
That's why people never smiled in the old pictures, right? Because you just had to keep
4 second
the same,
whatever.
Yeah, 4 seconds, and then you just try to relax everything.
Yeah.
And if you hold a grin for 4 seconds, you never can hold it.
Yeah, it's just looking
unless you look like forced.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I'm still on the experimental.
Yeah, it's part of.
So this is 2 pops. It works, but you can if you look at it closely, you can see kind of a little shaking. Yeah, exactly.
It happens to you?
I do that to magazines all the time.
Yeah. We're talking about, I don't know how you, dear listeners, but when I see a picture printed and I want to have a close look, I take my 2 fingers and try to open it like on a cell phone. It doesn't work.
It's not. I got a loop upstairs, but yeah.
Yeah.
This is, you know,
I'm so happy I'm not the only one.
yeah. No. It's
Where that happens.
It's weird.
I felt so silly every time.
Yeah.
Those are amazing. And will you do like an exposition or something with it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to learn it right now, and I'm trying to, you know, I'm a commercial photographer, so I'm trying to work, get paid for it. So I thought, you know, I always wanted to do this, and then now that I'm doing it, I'm thinking like these kind of make really nice, you know, like an author portrait or something like that. And I'm always trying to think of a way to make this bigger than I don't want to go to a market and set up a tintype booth and do that stuff that make me crazy. But you know, like if any job needs like a series that is, you know, has something more interesting baked in. This guy's interesting. This is that's Richard Moss. He's a art photographer.
Wow.
He does a lot of crazy stuff like in the Congo. He's the one who did all the infrared photos down there. Like I forget how many years ago, but he's now doing tintypes. He's doing like, I forgot about like 16 by 20 tintypes, like massive, like really beautiful.
Can you make them bigger once you have this? Is there a negative or anything to just?
No, this is
the only one.
But if you take a high-res photo, you know, that's basically a 4x5, you know, contact print you'd be making with a camera. So if you take a good photo, there's a lot of detail on there. You know, it's just where our eyes can't see them. My eyes can't see them.
So you can scan it kind of. And
yeah, when I take a picture, I've got like the R5 Canon thing. I take a picture and then you can get in there and it's just, you know, it's pretty stunning, which is, you know, I prefer that. I prefer to run something through Photoshop. Yeah. Because you throw a little, some of these things need a little bit of time.
Garnishing. Yeah.
If you throw them in a frame, like I want to frame this one, my daughter.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Even if it's a little dark, it's still kind of, you know,
wow.
It's got some characters. She prefers the one where she's in agony.
To be a good artist.
Exactly.
He needs that.
She's out. But,
wow. Beautiful.
Let me show you the process.
Yes, this is very, very exciting. What would you recommend young colleagues who want to... Oh, are you a Star Trek fan?
Well, I mean, who isn't? My brother sent that to me. Wow. The Three Wise Men.
I love Star Trek. I'm a huge Trekkie. I became a huge Trekkie when I was adult. When I was a kid, I didn't like it. I was a Star Wars. Because Star Trek was boring. I said, whenever there's a problem, they sit down and talk. What the hell?
It's a moral story.
And now I'm a huge fan of at least until Enterprise, Archer, and then kind of lost me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's based on real science. I was just talking to my daughter about that this morning. I forget what we were talking about, but she was talking about like some time travel or something. And I told her about the prime directive. You know, don't change the future or the past.
Yes.
And I'm just sometimes I'm trying to like mold her, get her ready to watch something, you know, start talking about it a little bit, then
how old is she?
She's going to be 12.
Okay, that's
2 weeks.
That's a good age.
Yeah, she's just got through all the Harry Potter stuff, so, you know.
Cliche. Yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah, so
I never was into Harry Potter, but I was too old when it came out.
Oh, me too. It's worth watching. It's you know, I was waiting for her to get into it before I watched it. It's enjoyable. It's fun.
Yeah.
All the actors are amazing. They're all.
Yeah, now I think most of them had a big career or have a big career.
Yeah, no one got trashed by being a child star. You know, it was it's amazing, really, if you think of all the child stars and how much trouble they had.
Yeah. Also, Lord of the Rings was a good franchise for a lot of actors, other than Star Wars, who usually one becomes huge, and the others are behind the scenes more.
Yeah.
Or when they get older, then they get like way more recognition. So.
Well, Shatner. I got to meet Shatner. I did a party once years ago, and I got to follow William Shatner around for the night. Yeah, it's for some TV, some network. And he showed up with David Hasselhoff and Tony Danza. And it looked like they were all
heroes from like just when you switch 3 channels.
Yeah,
all 3 shows.
And it looked like they all took the same limo and they probably all smoked the same stuff because they were like, hey. And they had to sign a clause. This is 15 years ago when they were already like in their 70s, I'm guessing. And they had to sign a contract, saying like a be good contract, that they wouldn't get into any kind of legal or trouble of any kind within 72 hours of the event. You know, like go out and get.
They had to really?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they that wild still, or where?
I mean, I understand for normal celebrities, but some of these guys. I mean, Hasselhoff has had his ups and downs.
Yeah, he's had this. Yeah.
But I just thought that was like, wow. Even at that age, you gotta say, no, that's rock and roll. But,
I met him once too, William Shatner, but just at a convention, and I paid for it, so it doesn't count.
Yeah,
But I felt like, wow, the Shat, I was.
Cool dude. Yeah.
He's great. I mean,
He just went to space, right?
at what, 80 something years?
Yeah.
While others just sit in their couch watching Netflix and all the time and say, I've seen it all.
Exactly.
Just doesn't give up.
I see. Okay, let me do a quick. Have a seat on the chair. I was kind of.
Do I take the hat off?
I like
Because
that.
of the, yeah? Okay. Because
It's not too big of a brim. I like that.
yeah, like it's from Tampa, actually.
You look very American. You look like you're from Florida.
Yeah, I want to blend in. Yeah, I didn't. I left my lederhosen at home.
Thank God for that. Look, try to look this way. I just want
So take this one a little down, I guess.
well, it could be part of the show, Just, this is old school, so I got a
Put it here.
loop on.
So I have to. Well, I put it away as soon as you take the picture.
Well,
so it's,
yeah,
there's no.
it's fine for now because we're gonna have to do the film, then we'll take the picture. The only thing is, don't look into it because these are both 1600 watt powers.
Okay.
So
I will have to drive to South Carolina till tomorrow.
Well,
Need to see
my
something.
daughter looked into it as I was testing once, so it won't permanently damage you. So I like to test on the little people. Let's see. And looking out this way, just maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of thinking more profile-ish. That's a
Stylish.
fancy good Americanism for you.
Do you lead your models with the posing? Because most people you are working with, the same as I, are not professional models. I call them civilians.
Oh.
So they are the model for the day. Even celebrities, some are a little conscious sometimes, but most of them don't know how to pose.
Yeah, some
Of all the people we were working with, some celebrities do. Models do, of course, because it's their job. But do you work with them on a psychological level?
Yeah. And a lot of times I give them stories. Like a lot of actors, well, not a lot, quite a few. When they're in character, they know what to do.
Yeah,
They know how to be.
they feel safe.
When they're outside of character, then they have a bit of a hard time. But in the same breath, I don't like working with models sometimes because they have these ideas of what they want to do, and a lot of times that's not what I want.
They have
So
the
they
same
have to
five
break
like
that.
face poses.
Exactly. Stop that. Let's no. I would like that, but let's have something real if possible.
Yeah.
So then that just takes a lot of talking, and getting them comfortable, whatever. But and the same thing with the corporate things, because it's a little. All they really have to do is look good and look in the camera and look relatively happy.
Or interested, kind of a little mystical. I like
Yeah.
as well sometimes.
Work this stuff. There you go.
I just try to tell them that they can't do anything wrong here. They don't have to prove that they're a model because they're not.
Exactly.
So they just
And film is cheap, so buy it. So
unless it's this kind of photography.
yes, exactly. This is
So now I have the pressure.
all right. No pressure.
But I can recommend to all photographers to go out there and find colleagues and be the model, so you really know how it is, because
Yeah.
most of my colleagues don't get. I mean, usually we never have pictures of us because we're on the wrong side of the.
That's true. And also curious to see how other people do it.
Yeah.
That's always fast. You can always learn from, even though, I've learned from people that I couldn't stay in their style, but there's like something, either how they did something or how not to do something. So when I was younger, I assisted like everybody, and I used to work for a wedding photographer.
Is that how you started?
Well, I started in journalism, so I was working at a newspaper, but I was also kind of assisting just to learn stuff from whoever and just try to make some money. But it's just kind of sort of a hobby and a lifestyle after a while. And I realized I have no hobbies now.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
It's terrible. Yeah, like my wife and daughter went away for 2 weeks. I was like, what am I gonna do? So I did some housework and then I was like, oh my god, I was driving myself crazy. That's really when I started getting into this more deeply.
hands on, more.
Yeah, it's like I got to do something because I'm going crazy. Because I didn't think of I can't sit around and read all day. I don't know.
I get bored easily as well. I like it sometimes.
Let's go in the dark room. I'll show you. Anyways, it's just but to go back to what I was doing back then, that was kind of more. It was more fun to work with people.
Yeah. And how did you, or let's say, when did you know that you wanted to be a photographer? What gave it? What was the last, or the last decision you needed to say, okay, that's what I want to do? And how did
when I was working,
how did they react when you told them around?
Oh, I went to school for photojournalism. So, like, at that point, I was, that was kind of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So it was.
But like as a child, you already knew you wanted to do that, or
No, I was.
or you wanted to be an astronaut or a pilot?
I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just wanted to be left alone mostly. But
would you say you're an introvert?
yeah, well, in school, I was super shy.
Yeah,
Painfully so. Yeah.
okay.
So it was really in college I kind of learned how to. Well, yeah, it was more working. I learned how to deal with people and stuff like that. But no, I went to school for it, and then it was really in college when you started getting to do it actively. That's the picture.
Yeah.
That it becomes more like, oh, this is fun. You can produce something, and it's just. And then back then it was all black and white or color in the dark room,
And with real film.
with real film, exactly. So this is the plate.
I was fascinated by that as a child. It can bring things to life.
Yeah.
And
This has got a part of that because this is all very
with the chemicals, and then I can't have light because it's a little mysterious.
yeah. But to go back to your question about when I wanted to do it, I mean, I was always working. I'm from Indiana, and I was always like working retail, like working at Kmart and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple of years of that, you're like, I would like to do anything else. And like, there's no, if you I went to one college, my first year, I went not the best college because my grades in high school weren't so good. And it was, I called it like a scared straight program, just like this college. It was okay, but it's just in this terrible town. And just looking around at your friends, you're thinking like, none of us are going to get out of here with anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like woke me up, and so I got my grades up and went to Ball State University, which is in Muncie, Indiana. Which is, again,
Is that where you come from?
I'm from the north. I'm from Lake Michigan. That's
Very north. Most north as can be.
exactly until you drown. But the bottom of Lake Michigan. It's a really pretty area. But anyways, but Ball State had a much better program for photojournalism.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got into the actual the photo classes, and I was like, wow, it's cool. And then I took religion and philosophy, and I love those too. And like all that together, it's like, I'm enjoying this. It's the first time in school I was like enjoying myself.
It was fun to learn.
Yeah. And luckily I got a newspaper job my last year of school. And I didn't, during the interview process, I didn't even ask how much she paid or anything like that.
Just having
It's a career, yeah. That's going to be something. And I get my first paycheck, and that's the exact same money I was making at Kmart. I don't know if they screwed me or if that was just what it was back in the day, Southern Indiana. But I was learning tons. I was like working all the time. Had a police scanner.
Oh, really?
If something happened, I could go out to take a picture.
So you were basically Peter Parker.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was very cool. And where are we?
And that was in the what?
92 when I left school. Yeah,
okay.
And then I did
What an innocent time.
Yes, my last real job was.
Can you still say real talk?
Yeah. Well, full time. Well, it wasn't full time. I worked at a fish cannery in Alaska. You got to figure now. Can you there's a piece of plastic on this. So that was just like a summer gig, and so after that, it was all full time photography. Oh, that could work.
Yeah,
very satisfying.
You got it.
Oh. But
Ben is wearing gloves. He doesn't chew his fingernails.
The problem with this is that the silver nitrate bath is basically silver, so you can stain terribly.
Yeah.
And apparently, if you get it in your eye, it will blind you as well. So that's what it is.
Photography is not for the weak.
No.
No, I don't know.
Let's see. Let's try that. Okay.
So you're preparing the plate.
I'm preparing the plate. This is the collodion. This is a It's like, think of it like a gelatin, sort of an old-timey gelatin. So I can't see a thing.
I will not film this because I want everyone who hears that to reach out if they want to learn. Just have the
There's a ton of stuff on the internet, like YouTube. It's pretty cool.
What would they have to type in to find that?
tin type, one word, TINTYP, or wet plate, because it's literally that, wet plate. But there's, I took this class like a year ago. I'm not the best student, so I'm not like taking notes or anything. I'm just trying to get some kind of muscle memory, get it in my head a little bit. So this has got to cure a little bit. I think that's why I've been getting the white around it, because I'm not letting it cure properly.
Yeah.
And then, a year later I get all the stuff. Yeah, it's basically the same as black and white photography. It's like if that were the print, you put it in developer, and then it's just water, and then fixer. But what's weird about this is the image comes in after the developer. It's like a negative, and then you throw in the fixer, and
it's time.
Yeah. So okay, pull that light enough. Yeah. So this is the magic silver bath.
Oh. This is like Dr. Frankenstein laboratory with Frau Blücher. Without the horses.
You watch the Young Frankenstein? Yeah. That's amazing.
I love that movie also because of the looks, because it actually looks more like the pictures,
Yeah.
And they found, I don't know if you knew that, they found the original artifacts and stuff from the Frankenstein movie from the 30s in an old garage somewhere on, I think, Warner Brothers lot.
Really?
And they used the exact same machines and stuff in the laboratory.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. I could stop that movie anytime, print it out, hang it on the wall. I would be happy.
Yeah.
It looks, ridiculously good. Mel Brooks' masterpiece.
Apparently they're redoing Nosferatu with Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
course,
other,
finally.
Yeah.
But
I'm
waiting for his Joker and for his Nosferatu since years.
Yeah. I love Willem Dafoe, but are there no other actors? He's in everything all the time.
Yeah.
He's becoming a little too much.
Well, yeah, we had Max Schreck, I think was his name, and then Klaus Kinski.
Right. You ever see Shadow of the Vampire? I think?
Yes, I saw it. It was also brilliant. Yeah. And now I just saw the last voyage of the Demeter.
Oh yeah.
Which was basically Alien on an old ship. It was terrifying. I had to sleep with the light on. I scare very easily with horror movies. That's why I don't watch them usually. But I wanted to have this. I like this time. This is like on the edge of modernism.
Yeah, that seems.
And the actors were brilliant.
I think it's a more simpler time, but it also is probably there's no hot showers.
No hot showers. no toilet paper. No no cold drink when it's hot. And definitely just imagining someone kissing someone from that time with the hygiene they had.
Oh my God! See, this the thing, the dentistry.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. But I like to look at it.
Yeah. So I'm soaking that for 3 minutes, and the silver is soaking into the plate.
Even you could have your cell phone doing this, but
I know
time or light.
I'm sticking.
I love that you have so much style.
Well, yeah, I got that on eBay, and I didn't really look into it to see it clocks out at a minute. That's the longest you can do. So I'm forcing myself to use it. That's great. Yeah, it's a little stupid.
Why not with a little style?
With the developer, yeah, that's true. With the developer, it's only 20 seconds, so it actually works in that phase. I thought about getting the classical one, but those people, those are still like you can still buy them, they're stupid expensive.
Yeah,
I prefer to go to eBay.
That's that. I think, especially here in a city as New York, where I think you can basically find everything that exists in the world.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You find these things in smaller towns, or where I'm from. I don't think you have a lot of luck, maybe, but.
Well, the problem here is if somebody has it, they know what it's worth. In a smaller town, they might not. So
agreed.
Yeah. But with the internet, that's going to trash that. Okay, so this is the place ready to go. This is our plate holding. So this is like just a kind of a pressure thing that keeps it flat. And now we're ready to go.
Wow.
Come on, lean back. I forgot
The light.
I forgot you mic'd me up.
You forgot what?
I forgot you mic'd me up.
Yeah.
Okay, so take care. We're burning daylight here, buddy. Go. Here, in your spot.
Yes. Good boy.
That's right.
Good boy. Good boy.
That's right.
All right.
Okay. Let's see if I can get a focus. Yeah, I can lower that.
Is it low enough
Yeah,
or lower?
that's fine. It's like it'd be a funny little piece of modern thing in an old photo.
I like road, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah. All right. So
So here, I just said,
exactly. And what's weird about this?
is this clean enough?
I don't think you're even going to see that. No one will be able to zoom in. So let's see. The hat's looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell me. And this time it's like room service.
No, don't worry. So good. All right. That's nice. Yeah, it's roughly in focus. The shutter is just open, so there's no. It's just such slow film. It doesn't.
So I shouldn't move it all because then I'm out of focus, right? Because there's a huge.
Yeah, I've already focused. So no, it's wide open. So I'm just gonna test this thing. So ready? 1, 2. Oh yeah, you feel that? That's
Wow.
Right. That's right.
I was driving once in Mexico next to a burned car at the street.
Oh yeah, good time.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
But thank God, just for a second.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Every time we drove the Poconos, there's the one highway called I-80 through New Jersey. There's almost always a burning Camry on the side.
Yeah, yesterday there was burning here in New York. Something was burning. There was a fireworkers. It smelled like weed, but yeah, but it was some I don't know, some dry leaves or something like that. So
Could be. I mean, police are like to burn the weed.
I mean, everything smells like weed now in New York.
Yeah.
All over the states smells like weed constantly.
Incredible how much
Yeah.
secondhand smoke you're getting. So yeah, they made it legal, but they didn't really. Yeah, well, they didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to find a legal shop because it's all just all these shops popped up.
I mean, I'm fine with it. You know, I never saw two people beat each other up because they were stoned.
Yeah, I've never.
Alcohol, yes. So
Yeah, I don't like to smoke myself. I don't mind.
I prefer a cigar actually.
I just think it's funny when people are like, oh, I don't drink, I'm clean, and then they're like eating these gummies and something else it is.
I don't do drugs, and then they eat sugar like crazy. You know, in our on the cell phone 10 hours a day. It's the same.
We call that California sober, where you just like get high, let you don't. Can you get the light?
Turn it on.
Yep. So this is, see, it's kind of might be a little off, and then that's the 90. So I don't always get the right.
God, I have to watch that process. It's so. Guys, you should definitely go to YouTube and check that out.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it should.
Oh wow,
Those cheekbones.
I look like my dad.
Is that good?
It's good, yes. Wow, I have cheekbones like Brad Pitt, but it's just because of the.
Oh, well, this it doesn't see red, or if it does, it sees it more in the blue spectrum.
Wow.
Let me try one more. I need to get. That's not, I don't know why. Sometimes the way that it sits in there, like I got not enough hat and too much shirt. But it's
I'll open one button up.
No. I don't mean to sex it up. I mean my general.
I just love my gray chest hair now that I have. It's working its way down. It's crazy.
Need to one. Also, I think I want to. Let me get this.
Shall I? I don't know. Okay, but
Yeah, good. Okay, it's two.
Yeah, you need fingernails as a photographer.
Let me readjust my thing out here, and we get you in the right place.
Wow.
So I'm gonna try different collodion. It's not up to the silver how much light sensitivity it is. It's up to the collodion apparently. And this is a new one that's supposed to be much more light sensitive. I guess it means it allows the light in better than the other one. So let me try this.
And it really looks different than, because you can, I mean, there are digital filters for everything now, so you can kind of fake the look digitally, but it's not like that. It just doesn't look like that.
Yeah, it's also a 4x5 image, so that the quality of the... I have one image on my website that's artificially done as a tintype. Now, God forbid anyone wants that, because it's going to cost a lot of money to replicate it.
Also, I think it's usually people don't know what to do with it because it's too artsy for a website for most people, or personal branding, and for the artists or celebrities or whoever is out there, it's too special sometimes. Depends. They have a certain interview, maybe it works.
Yeah. Oh, I've had some good luck with some stuff, and if it's like an image where it's like, wow, that's not just about the person, it's a bigger idea. That's kind of cool. Well, so you're looking this way. Where isn't it? So I think I must have messed up.
So the two flashes, one is on my face, and the other one is here. So otherwise, it would be super dark.
I'm really trying to just stack these so they're doing the same job. To double.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this one is also, it's flashed from behind, right?
Yeah, it's just a bit of a kind of rim line.
It's 1,000 watts.
I think these are 2,400, but I think they're half of that, so they're probably 1,200 each. But we're at full power with no softening agent. I do enjoy that. Okay, I'll make another.
Yeah, let's do another one.
Yeah, I think this one will be right.
Interesting.
Yep. And everything gets filtered through the kitty litter, so that really helps. A friend of mine came, he brought his son, and he's like, they were doing some charity auction, something, and I needed, something to auction off, and he's like, oh, you should auction off this experience. And I was like, I don't know if anyone who's going to give good money for the auction is going to want to be down here above my cat's kitty litter. And it's not, it's not a Manhattan studio experience. So I was like, I'll do a portrait instead. It's Palladium.
I just think it's, in comparison to the digital work is almost a little boring, because this is the craft that it was, where it came from.
Exactly. This is the beginnings. From a daguerreotype, right?
That's how Wyatt Earp and the presidents and the kings and whoever got photographed when they were younger.
Yeah. The first one was a daguerreotype, and I forget the English guy. There's Daguerre and the English guy did it. Larry figured it out at about the same time, but the English guy was not as popular, so he's not lost to history, but he's not
like Tesla, who invented the light bulb or something. They say, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, the studio I'm in Stuttgart right now is actually from 1893. The house, and that was the first photographer in town in there. Pictures of the king of the state and all that like that. So they have these huge high roofs.
America
with two metal, very heavy metal there. So because they had the fake roof to put it up and down, and also these old flashes they had to move.
Yeah.
Now you don't have that anymore.
I remember working in studios,
but it's like it looked cool, and they had all these celebrities in the 50s and 60s who passed through the town. Now nobody passes anymore, but in that time it was like that because he had this Rembrandt light.
And you're in Stuttgart?
In Stuttgart, yes. It was pretty famous for that. And I kind of renovated it without losing its style, but I also didn't want to have a museum. Of course, I need, internet and real light and stuff, but I always valued that energy in the walls. And also of course on top it survived both world wars, so I was pretty lucky then.
Yeah, I remember working at one studio in London that had It was like something out on the Apollo mission. It was like a big box by the eye, but it was like a flash unit, and you plug your flash into, and but like I don't know what kind of power that thing had, but I was afraid to touch it.
It was nuclear power.
It was something. I mean, it had like I think it might have had some tubes in there or something. But yeah, there's some amazing studios. At least in London when I was there, I worked in some that were like old school and very fun. But
is there one where you said that I would recommend everyone to go there because it's just special, whatever, light outside, inside, anything? We say, well, this was a remarkable one.
No, I always had to bring my own lighter, like my own light. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I only did a few like daylight studios, so are fine, but they're it's you only got that window. But it's good, and then it's then your clock's ticking in. Yeah, I'd rather just make that light so we can. Yeah,
ISO.
Exactly. Yeah, we worked in one studio. It was in Soho. It was one of those artist lofts, really long. Beautiful from the outside, really kind of cool inside. But the only light was that one window. That like the bank of windows on the one side, and the place is like 100 foot long. So if you get 50 feet in, you're in darkness.
Yeah.
So like all the photos had to be taken within 10 feet of that window if you were using that. So after a while, I'm just like, I'd rather create that light and control it. But
what do you think about the new wave of the whole artificial intelligence and that Mid Journey and all that stuff, or everybody now is a photographer, or even worse, everybody is an artist?
Yeah,
thinks.
Well, that already happened once with the digital age when that came in. Before, with film, you could be shooting all day and you might have nothing. And so there's a degree of trust.
Yeah.
And then with digital, you can look on the back of the camera or plug in the computer, and you're like, oh, we're doing fine. Let's keep going. But now, I don't know. Mid Journey is pretty. It all just looks very Mid Journey. And I'm very suspicious of the fact that it can do hands. It can do a face, it can do bodies, everything else. But it's almost like they wrote it into the program just to make us feel not too scared about it.
Yeah.
Oh, messes up hands. Why would it mess up hands?
It's like that. Yeah.
But I don't know. Right now, it's not too good. It's certainly going to get better.
Oh, I guess it will come that you can't just see it anymore. But even I don't know.
Some people know how to do it properly. I just, it's just yet another thing. Corporations are going to say, can we do this cheaper? And somebody's going to say, yeah, let's use this program. And everyone's talking like AI is going to take the jobs. So AI is not going to take the job. The corporation doesn't want to pay money. It's going to take the job.
Yeah.
So I find that irritating. But anyways, I don't want to dwell on.
But I don't know. I mean, for my clients, for my private clients especially, what they want isn't, they don't come because of the pictures. They want the experience. They want to have the whole taking time for themselves, just being worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Companies, of course, always try to make it as cheap as possible and as good as possible, which is, I mean, that's how it is.
Well, sometimes they don't even care about the good part.
Yeah. But in general, I mean, also if they care about their team and themselves and how to appear, like they say, okay, let's have this together, because it's also like a team uniting experience that you can have if you have the right people, of course. So I'll see where this is going. I also don't think it necessarily will kill all the jobs, but I think a lot of stuff that is just random. We just have a couple under an apple tree having a Coke or something. That might cost some jobs for photographers and models and whoever does it. That would be tough, but hey.
But there might be, let's try looking at it the same way like you were before. There might be a little bit of a backlash where this people want the more real. At least
I hope. Yeah. I mean, it's like cooking or having a microwave food.
Yeah, exactly.
And I hope people keep on cooking.
That's it. She's so confusing. Okay. All right. All that and nice. Let those cheekbones do their job.
I never knew I had them. Just
you had them all along. Okay, there we go.
They are there. I knew it's all under that beautiful soft coat.
Exactly. Get it hidden. All right, ready? And relax. 1, 2. Ammo. Another Camry on fire.
I like it. It's very warm and soothing.
Yeah. Okay, let's take this. This will be.
Now back to the laboratory.
Yeah, it's
Dr. Carr.
Could be.
Do you remember who was your first famous person, your first celebrity you were working with?
What?
Like I would say internationally recognizable.
Oh, internationally, that's different. I used to do a lot of stuff in Czech Republic, and a lot of like famous people. I just didn't know who they were. So that was bad.
Well, you're just not,
We first
conscious about it.
let me think. The first one that. Let's see. Good question.
But unfortunately, you remember, say like, who jumps.
Well, the first one that kind of taught me a lesson was Charlize Theron was.
Oh, wow.
She came in. I was working in some hotel room at a film festival. And I think it was Toronto. And she came in. I was really stressed out because like she was huge. And she came in and she was on the phone. She was having a hard time with somebody in her life. And she was very happy talking on the phone. And she's like in the space and I'm there. And I was like, wait, she's not worried about it. She's, she's living her life and whatever. And then when it came time to take pictures, like she just looked at the camera and she was like just turned on and she's magical. And I was like, wow, like I felt like I'm not necessarily here. I'm not worried about, why should I worry about my role in this? Overly stressed about silly things when I'm the only one. I'm not doing myself any favors. But I don't know if that makes any sense. But it was, but she's great. And then she gave an interview to a friend of mine who was the writer at the time, and he hadn't seen the film. And she's like, just tore him a new asshole. Because it's like, you're interviewing me about a film and you haven't even bothered to see it.
What film was it?
I forget. This was years ago, but it was hilarious. He came out of the interview looking all white. But he was South African and she's South African too, so he thought that his charm in that would get him through.
And what was the lesson that you learned? Just
not to stress it out, because it's these people they're living their own lives too. They're just like me, and they could want to come away with good photo as well. So they're not going to fight me. And there's nothing different about them and me, except for the bank.
Have you been nervous because of her celebrity status, or just because I would be? I was
that, and sometimes what I don't like as well is when you're in a small room and then some of them have like a huge amount of handlers. So like you'll be in a room and suddenly there's 50 people in the room.
No, I hate that.
And it's like, and they're kind of like staring at their phones. So it's like,
did I have a photo shoot and then after 5 minutes, everybody's on their phone because it is boring if you're not involved.
Yeah.
So it's just,
for me, it's always the waiting. It's like a little bit. So like when I'm doing my work, that's what I know how to do. But if I'm sitting around waiting, I find that very stressful.
Yeah.
So one time
you're a doer?
I'm a doer. Yeah, and I'll naturally shout. Anxiety ridden. One time I was working at Sundance and Uma Thurman was coming. I was pretty excited, and she's huge too. And there was like all these people on the street. And I could see her out the window. We're working in a wash shop, and she's walking slowly. She stops getting ice cream. She's walking down like the room is filling up. I like a crowded subway train. It's like, oh fuck. And finally she gets in there. It's like, oh. Then we could get to work and I can like wash it off and and do what I know how to do. But just that waiting bit, is I don't know. It's probably speaks to my childhood more than my work. Yeah. But
so you didn't like to wait as a child?
No, just the lack of knowing and the chaos and the stuff like that. But
it's the whole being good enough thing. Yeah, but I guess like
I don't know. I mean, when I'm actually doing the work, I'm confident. I know what I'm doing. I feel good.
When you're in the zone,
Yeah, or even just like, when it starts, it's like, in Manhattan, like driving to the place. That's a stressor.
Yes.
But once you get there, it's like, that's like one thing in the world that I know how to do. So that's not gonna be worried. If I actually don't mind when things screw up on set, like I was doing one I had a job, and we're using all these pro photo power packs, and they just kept like, weren't blowing up, but they were like, and they just kept dying. Like 4 of them went out. I was like, okay. Then they go into problem solving mode, and that's kind of fun because it's.
Yeah, you have to.
It's not me fucking up. See what? It turned out that the assistant was plugging it into the wall instead of the pack, which was like a little bit of a rookie move. It was a newer guy. But anyways, yeah. But in terms of learning lessons, well, main lessons just keep shooting until somebody tells you to stop, or until somebody walks away. Because there's always somebody like, well, even if they tell you to stop, it's like it depends on who it is. If the person they're still there, I'm gonna go until they wander off. If some little assistant with a BlackBerry tells me to stop, I'm gonna politely nod and keep going, because it's it's no, not gonna do that. And never let anyone tell you if somebody else has an idea and you don't agree with it, move on. It's not there. We used to work at Elle magazine in Czech Republic, and there's a lot of times there'd be something like a stylist. I remember it was just a negative influence on the set.
Mm-hmm.
Like you show her Polaroid, and she's like, I don't like this, that, the other. It's like, lady, you can barely pull the wardrobe together. People. Yeah, it's like after all, all you're doing is adding stress to the job. You have no solutions. You just don't like something, and you're gonna come piss on my shoot and hang out with a mopey face. So like these days, I would ask them to leave. But back then, I was young and I didn't know better. Yeah. So I would just let them stew in whatever. It was something in her life, I'm sure. Yeah. It had nothing to do with me. I was like, no, I'm stressed out because somebody doesn't like it. But it's like, it doesn't matter.
People there's a certain energy on set, and that's why I only want to have people on set that are actually involved in the shoot.
Dude.
Are you good?
That's pretty cool. Impressed. The other ones should be a bit warm. Bring that out here.
So, if someone would like to go into this whole celebrity shooting world, it's also where you live, I guess. If you live somewhere far from the whole industries, like film, music, art, sports, whatever, and entertainment, I guess you just don't get asked.
Well,
you have to be there, right?
Not necessarily. If you were in a smaller, like if you're in Toronto or somewhere, and there was a magazine there that did some kind of anything that might involve celebrities, and you might get that call before. If you're in Hollywood, everyone's doing this. But I kind of got into it in Czech Republic a little bit, and then in London.
But you were in the Czech Republic and you checked all the magazines that were there, and you said, okay, I give them a call. Or went there, just do they, hi, it's me?
Yeah, I went there. This is back in the 90s, so it was much easier to walk into a magazine. Also, a lot of the art directors were English or American or Australian back then. So, if you spoke English, you could kind of get in the door. And I was hungry. I kind of knew what I was doing.
Oh, that helps.
And, they at Elle magazine, they gave me like a portrait to do. I did that, and they liked that. And they gave me some other work. And it's just like it took 6 years for me to get, by the end of it, I was like a permanent freelancer. As I was doing, what's in your handbag, all the celebrity, not all of them, like celebrity portraits and like the random portraits.
No, Czech Republic?
Yeah, never did any fashion, but did that. And then I moved to London, and I had some like random celebrity, but more, just a mix, good mix of photography. But it's when I came here that I started working with Premiere Magazine. I already had like portfolio book of portraits, so like it wasn't like I was starting from scratch. I don't think you just go into celebrity photography without having a portfolio of strong images. So
of course
that helped. And then it was the same thing. Here's one, here's another, and I started working with Getty Images, and I this is one of the few times I was like a businessman. I brought together my editor at Premiere Magazine and my editor at Getty, who does entertainment. I said, why don't we work together and do a portrait studio at the film festivals. And they already had one going, but they didn't have a magazine associated with it. And Premiere was a pretty big celebrity magazine, like movies magazine.
Of course,
back in the day.
It's international.
Yeah, same one there. So does it still exist in Germany? That's pretty much dead.
I think it's still. No, it doesn't.
Well, it was a website for a while, and then it merged with Elle Girl. It was all.
Oh no, it's called Cinema now. Yeah, I think it's.
It's for so we got together and we did that the first year, and they liked me. They didn't Premiere at the time was kind of struggling and falling apart, so they fell apart. But I was already in, so I was doing more work there and doing a celebrity like the portrait studio for the festivals, and then other magazine stuff. And so that was kind of that was the big end that got me to a higher level for sure. So that was fun. That was interesting. And but these days, I mean, it's not steady work. That's and also it doesn't pay very much.
Yeah, that's what I also found.
I have a lot of stock of celebrities that they sell when they do something terrible. when they're in the news for something they shouldn't have done, or they like one time my editor called me, this is years ago, and somebody from the Sons of Anarchy killed his landlord's cat and the landlord, and then jumped off the roof himself. He was fine, but he called me up and he's like, "Oh, you're the #1 seller in Getty this week." I was like, "For that? that's I'd rather be #1 for a different, not for murder." But I whenever somebody asks me, "How do you get into celebrities?" I don't know.
But you get those on festivals where you go and just ask because or no, they're here or they're on.
Yeah, we'd have a space and we'd set up a studio
at festivals.
At the festival for Getty, it'd be branded, and usually, one time, Guest Jeans was a co-host, and so basically, there's a reason they would come in. Maybe they'd be doing interviews, or we'd be outside the green room where they'd be doing. And then press conference would be next door, so they would kind of funnel them through.
Okay.
A lot of times, some people walk in, we wouldn't even know where they were. Say, "Who are you with?" And it's like, "Don't worry about it."
Okay, got the picture 5 years later. Oh, Tom Holland.
Yeah. They don't get the pictures. It's that is more like the press stuff. But I could at least have time to do a studio, and I was shooting Hasselblad with a phase 1 back, so the images are nice. And that was more. The festivals, they come in, they might do a red carpet, do a screening, the interviews, and then maybe the next day they would go do the circuit where they go to AP for portraits and interviews, Getty, same thing. And so you might see I might see a picture pop up of some celebrity, it's not mine, because they're wearing the same thing.
Yeah, and
but they're just different, maybe. But that's more of we used to call it a dryer, a tumble dryer. It's you have so many people come through the day. By the end of the day, somebody says "Who came in?" It's I don't remember. Take a look. Some people you expect, you got a list of who's coming. Yeah. Some people just show up. You turn around and there's somebody. It's what the fuck. Or some people are on the list and they don't show up. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people think it's some kind of magical. I think I'm on.
It's just like a road day, like a cow herd. So you just move them through.
Yeah.
And they need good pictures all the time. The management sends them, I guess. They usually don't pay well because you can shoot a celebrity.
I'm working for.
It's okay. It helps. It's a good leverage to be recognized. Oh, well, you worked with. It's
it's definitely
trust you.
Yeah, there's definitely a trust thing. Yeah, that if I'm up for a celebrity job, having that in there says these people trusted him to be in the room with them. Clearly, and he's not a lunatic.
Yeah.
But in terms of portfolio, recently I've kind of wondered if it helps or not, because I've had some clients tell me I almost didn't call you because I thought you'd be real expensive because I have that. It's well, just call me anyways, and even though the budget's decent, so it's not, it's a positive that it gets me attention, but then
there's also a wall.
Yeah, or also people like pigeonhole you in this job where oh, he's a celebrity guy. He's not going to do this ad or whatever. Of course I'm going to do that ad. Give me a chance.
People think that when you do celebrities, you can live with that, but it's almost impossible because it's not.
I think the bigger people do. I'm in this middle transfer or whatever it is. There's people doing it. When you see the ads, those people are making money.
Yeah, but because of the ad,
Yeah, it's ad work. So
all the commercial stuff, not even editorials make a lot. So there's not like you have, oh wow, hundreds of thousands a year because of that.
Oh.
It's the corporate jobs that come. It's also, I do voiceover in Germany, and I know some, people who do famous voices to famous people. And they get paid, of course, if they do, I don't know, Christian Bale or Robert De Niro, but they make real money when Mercedes or Porsche calls them and we want your voice on our image film about the new Boxster or whatever.
Exactly.
That's what's the money.
Yeah.
The other one is just opening the doors to the big jobs, but they actually don't. They pay, but it's not like, wow, not what Porsche pays or BMW or Bosch or whatever.
Exactly.
Lufthansa. Or,
now, if you get George Clooney in the Porsche,
that's
most of it goes to George.
George Clooney, his German voice in the Porsche.
Yeah.
And then on top you have the behind the scenes shoots. That's where the money is. Then yes.
Yeah.
Because not George Clooney pays that. He gets paid.
Yeah. That's a funny world. I've met him a few times, and he does a very good job of. He does this, like, he shows up without an entourage, and he does this, hey, like he remembers you from last time, which there's no way he does. But it makes you feel really good.
Oh, really?
He seems like a really nice guy.
Some are down to earth, I think.
Yeah.
And by some you can tell, by some you say, I don't know, it's fun to hang out. But never meet your idols is what some told me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I met some, and most were really nice, thank God.
Yeah.
The bigger they are, usually the more relaxed they are, because they know the whole circus.
Yeah, I've never had a bad experience. I've had, their assistants come back later and tell me to delete a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But is that them or their assistants?
Yeah.
And I'm going to capture one, too, so you can delete it, and it goes in the session trash.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah, of course.
Take that, Jeremy Irons.
Simon says.
Yeah. I expect a letter from his lawyers soon.
Really?
He said I made him look old. That's it.
How old is he?
Well, this is
80?
like 10 years ago, but he was old at the time. And I had 3-point light, very soft, and the next guy over had the Kino flows in a square, which is really kind of crunchy, and he made him look pretty old, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't help that I was using a 50 on a Hasselblad, which is like a 24 at first, because it was looking pretty cool.
Yes.
But he didn't like it. So I was like, okay, I'll put a portrait lens on. Don't worry about it. I'm here for you. Anyways, but
all people and all vain says.
Yeah.
I look old, I look fat, I look whatever.
Yes. After I'm done photoshopping him.
Yeah, I said let's do my job.
We had Snoop Dogg come in one time. He asked that the studio be cleared before, so he could come in with his people by themselves into an empty studio, and then we could come back in. So we had to leave all our gear there, and they came in. We came in, and it was just like a Cheech and Chong movie. It was just like blue smoke.
Oh, cool.
It's just they were just looking police. It was very nice, but it was just like, well, it's a bit of a flex. Well, I'll take it, whatever. Yeah, I had to get you in the studio.
How long could you work before it affected you? The whole smoke.
Okay. That was from a professional.
I prepared for that for years.
Yeah. I forget who. There's one French actress. What's the name of an older French actress who's
Alain Delon, but he's dead. His
woman. Really beautiful. Catherine Deneuve. Yeah, she's in
Catherine Deneuve, yes.
Yeah,
Blonde?
she came in. Yeah, same thing. She only wanted to see photographers. No hangers honors, no editors, no nothing. So she came in. It was like me and her.
Wow.
And I was like, and she was great. But then she found out later that we don't retouch, and so she's like, kill them all. I still have those
retouch.
Well, not for Getty at the time, and I have the raws. So I all the stuff you see on my website is obviously retouched,
of course.
But some of the stuff that they used was just raw, and
I mean, if you want to, if someone does something wrong and you want to put him in a bad light, that's when you use the raw. Usually.
Oh yeah, we just go back to nothing.
Praise them and say what a beautiful person, and that gave $1 million to whatever aid.
Yeah.
Then you use a retouch picture.
Yeah, I mean, I just naturally wouldn't do that. I'm a polite person. I mean, I'll take a picture of a trash can. I'm gonna retouch it. I'm gonna make it look better.
And I think retouching is not about, because a lot of people tell me that I want to be, authentic. I want to be real. No retouch. No, you don't want to, because authentic is I wake you up at 4 in the morning. That's also authentic.
Exactly.
So I'm an artist. It's when you go to a restaurant and you buy a nice food. It's on a plate. It's beautiful. It's put there with purpose, not just putting in your calories because you just can mix it and drink it. it's the same.
Yeah.
So that's also real.
And
So
everything's-
just
yeah.
you know, have it. I just want to take everything away that distracts the message I get when I see you as the model, and so you know, because usually when you talk to someone, you just don't stare at them because there's one eyelash on the nose or something.
That's the thing with photos. You're allowed to stare at it.
That's what you took. That's what you take away, or a little pimple or whatever. So I think retouch is a good thing to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Now, Instagram filters is a whole new, it's a whole other thing. It's just a muggy.
Yeah.
Put a
Well, the darkroom stuff. I mean, 50 years ago they were doing stuff that no one understood. So, when people say I don't use Photoshop, I'm like, well, okay, but it's not.
There's a whole wave right now about this whole natural thing, not keeping up with the body shaming and not retouching everything.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to change anyone's body unless they specifically ask me to do it.
Yes,
that's
exactly. You don't make them. We don't just.
I don't remove
Frankenstein around with them, I think.
Yeah, I only remove if something's on your face that's not going to be there in 2 weeks. I'll remove that.
Yes.
But yeah, but I've had people, more and more people understand what you can do. And I've had jobs where they've said like, "Oh, make me look like I go to the gym and stuff like this." I can do that, but it's going to cost money, and I'm not going to do it without you specifically asking that, which is fine.
And writing it, so I have.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want anyone to feel like, "Oh my God, I'm so bad that he had to adjust my body."
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah, sometimes I ask about things, and some people have maybe a scar or something, or say you want us to, just put it down a little bit. You want to get rid of it.
I like
want to whatever. But I like anything that is out of the normal.
Of course, yeah. It's character.
Yes. Imagine Joaquin Phoenix without his lip scar. It just.
Sometimes they make up that away. I don't think. Sometimes he doesn't have it. I guess that's just makeup.
It's like. Yeah. That's true.
Just give this a quick rinse, then.
How often do you take pictures of yourself, and how do you do it with the? I mean,
never. I haven't figured.
Can you selfie yourself with this one? No, because of that.
I would need to get something to focus on first. I would need somebody to focus it, but yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need it. I have a couple good photos of myself. It's good.
Do you like to be photographed?
Not really. Sometimes. I've had some people do it. Like my friend Bill Wadman's really good photographer. They took a nice photo of me.
Like they say, you have to go through the software. If you want to take my pictures, you need to have taken it.
But then I send him a bunch of notes and he gets upset. Could you adjust this? Yeah. I was doing, where was I? The tin type thing, the class, we're in pairs and we're basically photographing our partner. And so I got a lot of photographs. Luckily, they're kind of cool, looking straight on, but that one side one was like, oh, not so good.
You have your chocolate side, we call it? Is it in German?
Chocolate side?
Chocolate side in the face. Which one is your chocolate side? The one that's
the good
better.
side?
The good side, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yeah. I never used to believe in the good side thing until I met some people who were like, you're right. That's much better.
I think we both have a more masculine, more feminine side.
Yeah.
So depends how you feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to look like The Rock, and then you want to look like Catherine Deneuve.
Exactly.
Although it never goes that far from the distance.
Yeah, that's quite a spread.
Right?
Oh my God, there's a bunch of lint in this. This place we bought a year ago, and it was no one had taken care of this for quite a while. It needs some help.
Yeah, but I like you have everything. You have here. You have the studio. You have a washing machine, a dryer. You have a bathroom. You have a shower. Everything that you need for.
It's like my man cave.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Man cave.
Let me just semi get this cleared up and gaffer tape. I need gaffer tape.
Let's see. Let's pause it. You never went into portraits? What do you mean?
No, I'm painting portraits.
Painting portraits.
See,
okay.
I think I tried, but it became pretty cloudy pretty quickly.
It's yeah. Look, I have one sample here that I carry around because it's hard to. This one, you see.
Oh, wow.
There was in a church.
Okay, I'm over.
And it is actually a picture, but it's a little work, not too much. and then it's like you can touch it. It's
Did you paint all this, the melting? Was that on the back?
that was the old church. It was very old, and so we put this stuff in, and and that's
Sudek or Saudek.
so. This is a paper, but usually I use it on Canva because it's just real Canva. It has to be like from linen, not plastic or anything, because it just doesn't absorb. And so I tell my clients, you can clean it with Windex if you want. This is sealed, Don't do it.
Put a varnish on there?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Like a different layer sometimes, when I want it a little bit up, then I destroy it again. So it has. I don't know what comes out when I start.
Yeah.
It's a meditating process, and I like it because I usually work only digital, and it keeps me away from. I don't like to sit in the computer.
Yeah.
So that's the part of my job that I don't like. So anything that is hands-on and anything that makes something unique is what I love. So that's why what we just did was for me like, wow.
Yeah. It's was like that. My assistant went to art school in England. He's English, and we said it should have basically you take something, put it through a process, and that another process. Maybe one more process, and it comes on its art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you have two processes, take a picture.
Exactly.
You print it, you paint it, you shellac it.
Yes, and then have it framed and all that stuff. That was actually, now I saw a guy who did artificial intelligence videos, or however I like fake videos.
Oh, deepfakes?
No, without people. Well, no, not with deepfake, but he just prompted whatever, all kinds of interesting scenes. And then they put it on Kodak film, old film, the one that they use for all kinds of cinema movies.
Yeah.
Project, and then they digitalized it on 5K, and it looks beautiful, and it doesn't look that fake anymore. Right. It just has a little more vivid distortion in it, and it's really, really interesting because I think that could be something that is interesting. Then mix it some real footage maybe with what they already do. And then just process it in the old way, and it always looks better. That's why Tarantino movies look so awesome when they're filmed on film.
Or afterwards, yeah.
And digital is
definitely faction. Yes, there's also done the little. I've been experimenting with styles. I used to hate the styles, the film styles, whatever. But sometimes throw it on at 24%, and it just adds.
Yes.
It takes the clarity out of there.
Exactly. Or emphasizes, does some more contrast. I like to play with it as well. I never use anything, if I work with something like that, I never use it 100% usually because it's just way over the top.
Yeah, and also I come to realize that
unless it's black and white, I don't like half black and white, half color. It's horrible. It's disgusting.
Sometimes I like to put like a black and white layer on that and just drop it down to like 8%, so it just knocks away some color. Because some of these digital backs are just hit 3
like Minority Report with Tom Cruise, they did that with this black and white monochrome on top, blending in. So they took away, I don't know if they took or emphasized the brown. That's why it has this unique look, but you know it's from this time because then all the music videos had this distinct look, and it was just overdone as usual. And you're like, nah, okay, seen it 1,000 times now, thank you. Something new. And it was the same in the 0 10 years with the highlights orange, the lower lights is teal or blue, and everything looked the same in Hollywood.
That is the danger of having one-month looks. That's why I always try to keep at least my skin tones are natural.
Yes. Yes.
I work with one retoucher, do a ton of stuff for me. Like, he was that make their skin tone stuff. So that was like quick task. Greenish. And God, it doesn't look good. That's not.
Yeah.
We got all this. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, but I think skin tones should be recognizable as alive and healthy, and no zombie and no Hulk and no nothing.
But I didn't realize recently that sometimes if you do a job, like I do some corporate jobs where there's like different lighting, and you're like batching out 100 clothes and trying to make the light look good. We just like throw a style on it. So like it might be a little bit warmer than it but it all fits in. Kind of takes away a lot of that lighting.
That's that's true.
And they won't notice. I mean, I'm the only one that notices. But that drives me nuts. Like, keep going back. I'm like, it's a little bit too much for you. Like, especially with fluorescence or daylight coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which way am I going to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If they wanted 1 foot, I could deal with that. But if you want 100 of them, it's like,
yes, that's tough. That's tough.
You might be ready for the drawing rack.
So, is there anything you would say I would love to do that I didn't do yet, photography-wise?
More of the same. Nice. I'd like things to go back to busy period that they were 10 years ago.
Yeah. Like, have you been super busy that time before COVID?
Yeah, it's much better. Like there's a couple jobs a week at least. Recently I've had a little bit more luck with advertising, bigger jobs, no good fun. Not how it goes. It's it just whatever you need lighting wise.
Mm-hmm.
The last job I did, it was like a 3-day thing, and my agent came in. I forget how much he said the lighting budget was, but I figured out what I needed, and it turns out whatever he said was per day. I thought it was for the 3 days.
Mm.
Oh, I can get all this stuff. So then it was like, oh, cool. And then that's a day where you go in and it's free light, and you test everything out and you build the stuff, and it's fun. It's like playing around.
Yeah.
And then the day comes and you got all you people and everyone's doing their job, and it's not just you and you working and running around doing lights. It's kind of fun when it works. I've had it not work. The terrible experiences where one job I was doing, there's like, there are 20 people in the room, clients and most money and stuff, and the art directors, of assistant art director, like we've been talking a month over this shoot. It's basically, imagine a football player on football with like that hard light on the sides, and and they first off I have that picture of Stan Lee, the comic guy, and like 80-year-old white guy. And they're like, we love this way the skin looks on this. Like, great. And so they cast an 18-year-old black guy.
18-year-old black.
Yeah, and I'm like, that look is not. It's not gonna work on him because he's got no wrinkles. He's got nothing. So before I tell him this, and we're on set, I'm lighting this, I'm doing that, and then it's like, that skin doesn't look right. It's like, who talk about? And like afterwards, so much retouching. But otherwise, and on top of that, the assistant art director was showing me like new pictures of people walking down the street laughing. It's like, I had nothing to do with our shoot. We're in a studio, on the street. And it's like, I'm like, what? Why are we bringing this up now? And then so we're getting the shots, and then the art director wants some dancing, that stuff, and he couldn't communicate, couldn't tell me what exactly. And what came to me, and he's like, I just want them to be like, fuck yeah, Or like, I don't know. And we'll go through. Luckily, they were actors and not models. And I walked up to one of them and I said, I had no idea what's happening, but if you give this fucking go crazy a bit, dance around, that'd be great. And so luckily they pulled something out to this, and like, after so much talk, and you have this, you're all set for this one thing, they pull the rug out.
Yeah.
Something else, and you're trying to make it right.
Have you been there the last half year talking about that?
And normally there's like a producer or somebody to get in the way and protect me. And then later I work with somebody and say like, my job is to keep down and wait for you. Thank you. That's good.
Yeah. So how big is your team do you have always the same team, or do you have kind of who protects you? You said you have an agent?
Also, agent who like does this usually for the advertising stuff. And that involves very,
Yeah.
All the well, that's that full production where you got hair and makeup, styling, and all the people, and budgets and all that stuff, and renting. So he takes care of all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then my team would just be my regular assistant, and if it's big enough, we'd have a second assistant and a digital tech.
And they do the lighting and everything, so they know what you like and they put it on, or you just.
I generally do that with my regular assistant.
Okay.
So we'd be in there the first day. And he knows what I like, but you're always tweaking stuff. So but we work really well together. We worked together 15 years now.
Wow.
But and then we have the digital tech, which is great because he's like, it's coming on his screen. He's got 3 other screens for whoever wants to see him. Mm-hmm. And like last time we rented one of those Fuji GFXs, which is the medium format Fuji, which has way too many buttons. When you're over 40, that's just to take out. So like, I would just tell him if I needed to adjust anything on camera, because he could just dial it in. It's like, can you switch me up to 200 ISO instead of me looking through the menus to find that ISO? It's like,
I don't like when
wonderful.
it's not intuitive.
yeah, it's like, how's my focus? It looks good. It's like, that it takes, there's like layers of stress, I call it. You peel it away when you have
Yes,
people,
team. Yes.
yeah, can you do that? Or you stylist, can you fix instead of like on my normal jobs where I'm jumping ahead and adjusting stuff and doing everything. That's wonderful. But that doesn't happen all the time. And I'm not.
You also sometimes work like on your own with the client alone, or
Yeah.
I don't know. At least I always have a hair and makeup artist, and always the same 2 people.
That's nice because you get to know them. And
Yes, and we're friends, and they know what I like and what I want to take care of, and then I just
yeah, you can do your
I
thing.
can't do
Yeah,
all of that, or it takes forever, and I'm stressed, and it's not good if I'm stressed.
that's exactly.
I won't show it, but
Yeah,
good.
yeah, like magazine stuff. That's usually just me and one assistant, and luckily he's. I don't know. He went to art school and he's got a great eye, so he'll see all that stuff and he'll jump in.
Yes,
And
that's what they need to have the radar on.
Yeah.
Switched on.
I remember this one job was just me and him. It was like a pseudo advertising job without the budget, so it was like there was no stylist, and we were doing restaurants for one of those DoorDash companies, the delivery people. And they sent us to this place. It was basically a fast food place, and they, in the deck, all the images that they show you that with their vision for it. It's like all these beautiful, probably Californian restaurants with light flowing in from 3 different windows.
Yeah.
And they sent us to this fast food place. It looks nothing like that. It's trashy, and it's just like
In the middle of 3 high skyscrapers.
yeah. There's like plastic tables, and all the food is brown, and I had I was close to a panic attack because you get on a job and I was like, how am I going to pull this out? Because they just I called the art director and I said, this looks nothing at all. I'm like, what do you think it is? He's like, well, just do your best. And then I really leaned on my assistant because I was just doing some shots of food shots, but I'm not a food photographer. But if you got the right stylist, I was like, look, can you just try to arrange this so it looks good while I go do some deep breathing? And so we came back and I photographed and it came together. It was fine. It was good enough. But it's just sometimes where having that kind of team, where somebody else is like,
on your side.
So I'm gonna Can you talk to them while I go vomit around the corner? They come back and then we'll get it done.
Yeah,
because sometimes you just need nothing can be kind of fucked.
Yeah, especially when there are too many opinions on set, and they want a certain look, and they say, can we try this hair? Can we do this hair? I think, and then you have your hair and makeup artist who is tougher than you are. I said, no, but because we're doing business, it should be like that, because you want to have this and this and this and that. I said,
exactly.
It helps so much.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just that other voice. I have a hair and makeup at least sometimes when I can. It's just wonderful because he can be much more the voice of authority in terms of fashion and look.
Yes,
because he's a gay guy who's been in the fashion world.
Oh yeah.
So he's got all the lingo. I'm from Indiana. I can pick out stuff and make it work, but no one's going to believe me quicker than they're going to believe him.
Yes.
So even if we come to the same conclusion, it's like, oh, he said it was good. So it's good.
Yeah, and especially when they have this thing of being very, very dominant with it, but also laugh it away in this kind of style. That's a mixture I don't have.
Yeah.
I'm direct or I'm funny, but it's difficult for me to have both, and I know one as well, and I say, well, this guy he just gets what he wants in a completely different fashion, a different way I do. And it's good to have these, call them my Avengers. Everybody has certain powers on that, and that's when we take on the big baddie.
Right, yeah. There's nothing worse than afterwards, walking away and thinking it derailed on me. I lost control of it.
Yes.
So I've had that happen early on enough that I'm like, God damn it. No, let's just, let me get this one back. And then we can try other things, but first, this is what we need.
Yeah.
It's also good, and celebrities is good in that way, because you're done. You got 5 minutes, I got to get these 2 shots and then try to get something for myself. And then so, okay, see, that's what I like about newspaper as well. It's, it's something's happening, you take a picture or whatever. There's no going back. There's no rehashing it. It's just it's done.
Yeah.
So look at this light bulb out there. I don't know what a light bulb does under great heat.
Recharge.
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna let you dry here, but then I'm gonna take a picture before I shellac it, before I varnish it, and I can retouch that, and then I'll either send it to you wherever you are.
Oh, that would be
In
beautiful.
Alabama, and you finally settle down.
If you send it to El Paso, that's where my family lives. I don't definitely get that. I will be there in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I will have Murphy, South Carolina.
Murphy.
Yeah, super small.
Okay.
Quite out in the nature. Then I'll be in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I go to Nashville, and then I'll drive all the way down to San Antonio, and then to El Paso.
You driving the whole time?
I will drive. I have all my gear.
You're a good tourist. I appreciate that. And some Europeans come, they go to New York, L.A., and Chicago maybe, and they think they saw America. It's like,
I had that in my teenager times. But I mean, I was in L.A. 2014. Was okay, but it didn't reach me that much. I thought Hollywood and films. I'm so much into movies, but actually being there, it's like meeting your idols again. As a child, that was the first time. I was 13. And of course, you're doing Disneyland, you're wow, and then you see the Hollywood sign, and you see the Chinese theater, but everything is way smaller than you think it is.
You can move your car.
Shall I?
Yeah, I think you might already have a ticket. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think you said a timer. I got confused.
It's 12. I think I can do that.
So let's follow. There's a phone switch on the other one. Thank you. We get the full New York experience.
Oh, it's still there.
Okay. So hopefully there's not.
Now we can move it on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had once a ticket in New Orleans, 180.
Oh, I'm not sure. You might have one now, but it's not final.
I hope not. Let's see. Huh. Looks good.
Amazing. Wow, you
Did I
got.
put it just here?
Well, you got the fire hydrant here, so.
But here on this one?
Yeah, I don't think you can take the space, but there's right in front of that black car. I think there's a spot.
I'll try that one.
Or not in front of the other one.
Okay. Well, so this was a wonderful live session, learning a new technique, being the model,
That's
talking
nice.
about all these great experience of yours. It was a pleasure having you here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
If you ever come to Europe, I would love to have you at my place. Although I plan to move here, so we might hurry up.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I definitely want to give it a shot here. Just have to see how paper works. I'm constantly with ChatGPT talking about how to do that because it's not impossible. And guess I'll start in Tampa.
All right.
So have a cigar there.
Sounds good. All right.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.